Coach Lee with myexpatcoach.com, and today I'm going to answer a question that I'm asked often, and that is, why did my ex dump me? Many times in a coaching call, people will ask me that question, and a lot of times it's not even important to reattracting their ex to begin with. Please take a moment and subscribe to my channel with the buttons below, and that way you can be notified whenever I have new content that can be helpful to your situation. So when I'm coaching clients and they ask, why did my ex dump me? A lot of times I'm working with them to strategize and to work on their approach so that they can actually get their ex back, because that's my number one goal. But it's just almost, I would even say every call, it will come up. The question will be asked, why did my ex dump me? And I understand why that's important for you to know. And the first thing that I want to tell you is, it's not always important in terms of getting your ex back to know why they broke up with you in the first place. And the reason for that is because many times a breakup can happen, someone can break up with you because of situations that are going on in their life. For example, if two people were graduating high school, going to different colleges, one of them might decide that they just don't want to pursue a long distance relationship and maybe life just needs to move on. Other cases could be that maybe the money situation is not good and they're really trying to just get that under control and change their life in that area, and they just think, now's not the time for me to have someone else in my life. Or it could be a physical problem. It could be emotional problems. A lot of people that I speak with have anxiety problems or are dating someone who has an anxiety problem or have been dumped by someone who has an anxiety problem. And some of that could be part of what caused the breakup. It could also just be how they feel in the moment. Because some people, when they make decisions that are based on emotion, based on what's going on in that moment, they don't make the best decisions for their future. And so oftentimes that's why an ex will come back, is because the decision was made in the moment. Maybe they just had a rough couple weeks with you, communication wasn't very good, they felt that you didn't understand them or that you weren't best for their future or that the connection was dropping. But in all cases, I will tell you this, 100% of breakups are caused at the root level by a drop in attraction. Now let me tell you what I mean by that. There are different forms of attraction, and ideally you would have as many of those as possible: physical attraction, intellectual attraction, emotional attraction, and spiritual attraction. Dr. Joe Beam refers to that as the PIES, P-I-E-S, just an acronym to help you remember. But attraction, when it's high, the person that we're with will do anything to stay with us. I talk to people who were driving hours to see each other, and one of the women who I was coaching said to me, he used to drive 2 hours to see me, and sometimes I would drive 2 hours to see him. We would alternate it to be fair. And it didn't bother him. He seemed fine and happy to do it, like it was well worth it. And she felt the same way. And then suddenly he decides he doesn't want to drive 2 hours anymore to see her. And so he doesn't want to be in a, quote, long distance relationship anymore. And he breaks up with her. So what changed? The distance didn't change. They are still hours away drive time from each other. That did not change. Something made it to where he no longer felt that the drive was worth it. If attraction had remained high, be it a combination of physical, intellectual, emotional, or spiritual attraction, he would have been happy to continue making that drive. But you see, over time, attraction can fall. Time is not the cause of it. The cause of it is complex. However, I can tell you a few things that cause loss of attraction from the other person in our lives, and that's when we over pursue them. We become clingy and needy and jealous. Those are things that can hurt attraction. They can lower it significantly and be the root cause of the breakup. Sometimes it is really that simple, that this person liked being with you, wanted to be with you, but because you were clingy or needy and showed all this insecurity and you were jealous, You basically demonstrated to them that you did not think you were high enough value to keep them because you were jealous, because you were needy. You felt like you were going to lose the relationship. And in some ways, that's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, because the other person, and a lot of this is going on subconsciously. It's not something that they could sit here and explain to you. But the concept is, well, if you are so jealous and needy and clingy and worried that I'm going to break up with you, you must feel you're not very high value or that you don't deserve me. And because you know yourself better than I do, because you're inside of your thoughts, you're inside of your mind, you're with yourself constantly, you must be right. Now again, those aren't the exact words that they are thinking, but that's what the feeling becomes. That's what subconsciously they are thinking. Again, this is not word for word. This is a subconscious gut type of thought. And when you constantly text and it seems that you're chasing them and you don't have anything else going on in your life but them, they begin to see your value fall. They feel it. And that will cause them to pull away some, which will often cause you to chase more and pursue more. And it just becomes more and more lopsided to where they feel you are far more interested in them than they are in you. And that oftentimes is the beginning of the end, because nobody wants to be in a relationship where they feel that the other person is way more into them than they are into this other person. Because we want to be with people who just really knock our socks off, who we're really attracted to, who we really want to be around, who we are excited to be around. That's just human nature. So, those things, the clinginess, neediness, jealousy, that lowers your value to how the other person feels about you, is oftentimes responsible for the breakup. Don't beat yourself up over it, don't agonize over it, and don't analyze too far. You need to change some things about yourself. So if you want to get your ex back, yes, focus on making yourself better, but it doesn't have to be all at once. Take steps, make progress. It doesn't have to be perfect. I also want to encourage you to try not to overanalyze and just constantly think about things your ex said at this point that didn't make sense with this other thing that they said, and that they were inconsistent with this, in trying to figure out the breakup. Because again, when someone is trying to express how they feel, number one, it's difficult for them to put it into words. Number two, people change quickly sometimes. Number three, who even knows what they really feel on any given day? Things can change and fluctuate. So just because someone said one thing in the moment does not mean that they are held to that or bound to that a week later. Now, some people try to do that, but for example, one guy said to me, she said she'd never leave me. And it was almost like he felt like if he reminded her of that enough, that she would say, well, you got me. I can't ever leave you because I said I'd never leave you. Think about that. Is this productive to getting his ex back? Is going to your ex and saying, nope, you said you'd never leave. You said you'd love me forever, that we're going to be together forever, so you've got to come back and stay with me forever. Do you think that will work? Do you really think that will work? All it will do is make you look ridiculous and weak. So don't do that. And don't overanalyze the reasons for the breakup, because oftentimes there's not a lot of logical structure. If attraction falls and your ex just feels it especially strongly for a few days or a week or more, they just don't see a future with you because they can feel the attraction dropping, and they broke up with you. That doesn't mean that you can't get them back and that you can't rebuild attraction. But at the core of a breakup, at the core of most breakups, is a drop in attraction. And that's the most important takeaway that you should have from this video. Now, one thing that I need to mention is arguing, bickering, nagging, fighting, screaming and yelling at each other will kill attraction. Attraction will fall greatly from that. So it's not that that in and of itself is the cause of the breakup, but it's because it is so horrible for attraction, because no one wants to be in a situation with someone where they're treated like that. So attraction will fall. So if that was going on, then that is a good reason for the breakup, as far as it contributing to the loss of attraction. And that's definitely something that you can work on, and you might even need to send a clean slate message to them, which you can read an article about that on my website, myexbackcoach.com. You can read about a clean slate message and when it's needed and how it can be helpful to reset and to start rebuilding attraction. If you can rebuild attraction and work on making yourself the most attractive version of yourself possible, you can get your ex back, even if you don't know exactly what minor details or what exact issue triggered the breakup, because really it's like there's a lot of dominoes falling. I mean, which one are you going to pick? If you focus on attraction, a lot of things can be overcome. That's the whole reason that in the situation I explained early in this video, where we had a guy driving for 2 hours to see his girlfriend, and he did this for over a year, gladly, and then all of a sudden the 2 hours mattered. Well, logically you could say, well, the 2 hours obviously didn't matter, so why did he say that they did matter all of a sudden? You see how logically that doesn't make sense? But it can be explained when attraction falls. If attraction remained high, and he was extremely attracted to this person, physically, intellectually, emotionally, he would drive 2 hours. He did. But when the attraction failed, those details got in the way. So focusing on the details is really just putting a Band-Aid on the problem. The distance between the two of them was not the problem. It was because attraction failed. And again, when I say attraction, I'm not talking about do you look just like a supermodel and trim and buff or trim and fit, whatever it is that fits your body. So why did he say that they did matter all of a sudden? You see how logically that doesn't make sense? But it can be explained when attraction falls. If attraction remained high and he was extremely attracted to this person, physically, intellectually, emotionally, he would drive 2 hours. He did. But when the attraction failed, those details got in the way. So focusing on the details is really just putting a Band-Aid on the problem. The distance between the two of them was not the problem. It was because attraction failed. And again, when I say attraction, I'm not talking about do you look just like a supermodel and trim and buff or trim and fit, whatever it is that fits your body. I'm saying attraction is complex, and some people who are physically attractive are not emotionally attractive, maybe because they're clingy or needy or jealous, or maybe because they don't have intellectual attraction because they are not good conversationalists and they need to work on maybe reading more books and talking to more people and learning more things. So there's different forms of attraction, and if one of them falls or multiple areas of attraction fall, that can cause breakups. So that is the main reason for breakups. And again, I encourage you not to overanalyze it. You can get your ex back even without knowing the exact reason for the breakup, because really the overall reason is attraction, and the other pieces will fall into place when attraction is high. If you want my help to increase your attraction and get your ex back, visit myexbackcoach.com and you can schedule a coaching call with me. If this video was helpful to you, please like it with the thumbs up below and subscribe to my channel so that you can be updated with content that's helpful to your situation. This has been Lee with myexbackcoach.com. Thank you for watching.